You might remember back in 2018 when the Celtics and Bucks faced off in the first round of the NBA playoffs, and it was then when Terry Rozier and Eric Bledsoe developed some sort of beef. It all started when Rozier referred to Eric Bledsoe as Drew Bledsoe during a post-game press conference following Game 1.
Giannis, he loves to push the ball. Drew Bledsoe, he loves to push the ball. You got Chris Middleton, who makes tough shots.
Then, following Game 2, you could tell Bledsoe wasn't too happy about that.
How personally do you take that matchup?
Who?
Terry Rozier.
I don't even know who that is.
Now, I know what Rozier said was completely unintentional, as he claims it was simply just an accident, but that doesn't mean karma was just gonna forget about him, especially considering the fact that Rozier decided to troll Eric Bledsoe by arriving to a game wearing a New England Patriots Drew Bledsoe jersey soon after. Now, that was no accident. Little did he know it would eventually come full circle, and that day came 4.5 years later. The Clippers were visiting Charlotte this past December when Kawhi Leonard hit the game winner over Jalen McDaniels. Shortly after the game, I saw this quote on Twitter that Kawhi gave during one of his post-game interviews, where he referred to Terry Rozier as Tony Rozier, and they were even talking about it on Reddit afterwards as well. But just reading about what he said and taking their word for it wasn't good enough. I wanted to actually hear it for myself. So after some digging, I finally found the audio.
Yeah, I mean, my teammates trusted me. I said this, but I seen I had Tony Rozier on me at the time, and then they did a great job of getting one of their best defenders on me.
So I guess Kawhi has something in common with Eric Bledsoe.
I don't even know who that is.
What are the odds that this happened to the same guy who made the same mistake himself? It's looking like what goes around comes around really is true, and this next one backs that up even more. Remember when Devin Booker complained about the Raptors mascot distracting him behind the basket while he was at the free throw line? Well, it would only take a little over a year for them to get a taste of their own medicine. We found out recently that they can certainly dish it out, but can't necessarily take it themselves. When the Chicago Bulls took on the Toronto Raptors in this past NBA play-in tournament, DeMar DeRozan's daughter ended up being part of the reason the Raptors missed 18 free throws. Whenever the Raptors went to the line, DeRozan's daughter could be heard screaming at the top of her lungs throughout the arena, as her free throw distraction came up clutch for her dad's Chicago Bulls. However, what was meant to be innocent fun turned into a serious situation after the game. His daughter was escorted out of the arena by security after she allegedly received several online threats, which is pretty scary to think about. How could they go from making fun of Devin Booker to now all of a sudden getting butthurt when they're the recipient of such antics? It's not really all that funny when it happens to you, is it? On December 5th, 2012, Kobe Bryant eclipsed the 30,000 career point mark to join an exclusive club of NBA greats, becoming what was at the time one of only 5 players to do so. And what makes this particularly ironic was his opponent on this night he surpassed this scoring milestone, which was the Hornets. As we all know, the Hornets were the team that drafted him in 1996. Before then, Lakers general manager Jerry West acquired Bryant in a deal for Vlade Divac. Here is the moment it all came full circle.
So how will they attack it? Kobe going for 30,000. He can get it right there. 30,001. Congratulations, Kobe Bryant.
And here's what Kobe had to say after the game. The irony, Bryant said, "It's funny how sports always seem to kind of have that connectivity in some shape, form, or fashion. It just kind of always seems to come full circle. Moments like this are a painful reminder to the Hornets of what they could have had. And moments like this are also a big part of the reason Devin Booker idolized him so much. When the two faced each other for the one and only time on March 23rd, 2016, it was a dream come true for Booker. He was a rookie while Kobe was on his way out. And when they spoke with one another after the game, Kobe gave Book a signed pair of shoes with a little message that simply said, "Be legendary."
We had a short conversation on the court, and he left me with, meet me in the back. Let's chop it up for a little bit. I thought it was going to be a 2 to 3 minute convo, and ended up being 15 to 20 minutes post game. And that's when he signed the shoes to me. One shoe said, "To the young one," and the next one was, 2 book be legendary.
And it's crazy that almost exactly a year later, and I'm not kidding when I say almost exactly a year later, Booker would do just that by putting on a legendary performance, becoming the 6th player in NBA history to score at least 70 points. And what did he do immediately after the game? He hopped on Twitter and referenced what Kobe said to him 366 days prior. And what makes this even more poetic was the fact that Booker's 70 points were the most scored by an NBA player since none other than when Kobe dropped 81 points against Toronto in 2006. Now this part is what really caught my attention. Booker's 70 came on the exact same day of the calendar year as Tom Chambers' 60 points he put up against Seattle in 1990, which up until Booker was the previous franchise record for points scored in an individual game by a Phoenix Sun, both taking place on March 24th of their respective years. Going back to the game he played against Kobe his rookie year, Booker talked about the fact that he used one of his moves against him and said that's something he will remember for the rest of his life. And to Kobe, it kind of reminded him of his younger self and how he used to compete against his idol Michael Jordan.
Playing against Booker tonight, I mean, he went straight to my move. The first time he caught it, like, yeah, you're not gonna beat me on my move, man. Like, you know, but I mean, it was great to see. It was absolutely great to see, because I remember I did the same thing with MJ.
Interestingly enough, when Kobe scored 81 points, it was the most by a guard since MJ scored 69 in 1990. What Kobe became to Booker is what MJ was to him. This must have felt like deja vu to Kobe all over again. Speaking of something significant happening on the same exact day as another, when Kobe Bryant passed Michael Jordan on the NBA's all-time scoring list back in late 2014, it was kind of a full circle moment in and of itself, or at least it must have seemed like one to Kobe, considering who he had just passed on that list. But that's not what I'm trying to get at here. Get ready for your mind to be blown. Did you know that Andrew Wiggins was present for Kobe Bryant passing Michael Jordan on the all-time scoring list, and Stephen Curry passing Ray Allen on the all-time three-pointers list? But wait, there's more. Those historic moments just so happened to take place on the exact same day 7 years apart. I know, I couldn't believe it either, but it's true. It would be one thing if it was only the fact that Wiggins just happened to share the court with them, but for both to also happen on December 14th adds another eerie layer to this. Wiggins essentially made history without even trying. All he had to do was be in attendance, so to speak, and watch other players make history. And what's almost guaranteed to give you goosebumps is the fact that it was Wiggins who set the ball down in the spot where Kobe passed MJ on the all-time scoring list, while they were taking the 8-second violation to honor him the day after he passed away.
And it's right at the spot where Kobe Bryant passed Michael Jordan, so Andrew gets the honor of putting it down where Kobe Bryant scored those 2 free throws, Dave.
Obviously, he would know right away where to put the ball down, since again, he was there to witness it. If you think about it, the free throw line is actually a pretty significant part of Kobe's career, not only because he passed MJ while at the line, but because his first and last points were free throws. He also shot free throws on a torn Achilles, and we can't forget about the fact that it was also free throws that got him his 80th and 81st point back in 2006. Steph Curry has actually experienced some full circle moments himself. Take this photo of him and his son Cannon, for instance. It's nearly identical to this famous throwback picture of him and his own dad that we've all seen before. And I want to talk about another full circle example that involves Steph and his dad Dell. I wouldn't doubt it if you've seen this footage of a young Steph shooting around in an empty Air Canada Center, as well as this clip of him shooting around while his dad is warming up before a game, back when Dell was a member of the Toronto Raptors. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I find it pretty crazy how Steph Curry eventually went on to play against the Raptors in the NBA Finals. Playing against them in the regular season is one thing, because of course you're gonna have the opportunity to play every team if you make it to the NBA. But playing against one of your dad's former teams in the NBA Finals must have felt absolutely surreal to him, especially given the fact that that's technically the same building he used to shoot around in growing up. It just has a different name now. And seeing Drake wear his dad's jersey while Drake was sitting courtside had to have been pretty cool too, even if it was Drake's way of trolling Steph. And if everything that I said isn't full circle enough, now Dell is the one shooting with him before games.
Steph Curry and pops Del Curry, a 40-footer off the window. Oh, just moments ago. I guarantee you he meant foot out the window.
Pops, you're the example of what a true professional is on and off the court. And to be able to follow in your footsteps, it means a lot to me.